After a fateful Los Angeles newspaper ad by drummer Lars Ulrich, Metallica was born on October 28, 1981, when Ulrich and singer-guitarist James Hetfield got together and eventually recruited Hetfield's friend, Ron McGovney, to play bass and Dave Mustaine to play lead guitar. After playing numerous opening act shows in LA, they rose to a very high popularity and recorded their first demo, No Life Till Leather. After many successful shows in the Bay Area, Metallica ended up moving there after convincing bassist Cliff Burton to replace Ron McGovney. After being offered an album deal by John Zazula on his label Megaforce Records, Metallica then traveled to New York in April of 1983 to start work on their album. Although, shortly after arriving to New York, the band replaced Mustaine with Exodus guitarist Kirk Hammett, leading Mustaine to famously start up his own band, Megadeth. Their time in the studio produced their debut album, Kill 'Em All, which introduced songs such as The Four Horsemen and Seek and Destroy that made a huge impact in the metal community upon release. Metallica was easily able to go into the studio to start work on their next album. They headed to Copenhagen to work with Flemming Rasmussen at Sweet Silence Studios in the summer of 1984. After this studio session, Metallica had their second album, Ride the Lightning, which included great hits such as For Whom the Bell Tolls and Creeping Death. Shortly after this release, Elektra Records quickly jumped to sign the band by the fall of 1984, helping Metallica to expand their touring into more international territory. In late 1985, Metallica once again hit the studio to start what would eventually become Master of Puppets, the band's third album. Released in March of 1986, this album produced great compositions such as the title track Master of Puppets and the amazing instrumental Orion. Master of Puppets landed in the top 30 album charts, greatly widening their fan base. Sadly, on September 27, 1986, the band suffered a terrible loss. While on tour in Sweden, their tour bus crashed, killing bassist Cliff Burton. To start rebuilding, Metallica auditioned over 40 bassists until they found Jason Newsted. After a touring cycle, Metallica released the album that took their career to a new level of success. Under producer Bob Rock in 1991, Metallica released their self-titled album, better known as the Black Album. This album stayed at #1 all over the world for multiple years, selling over 16 million copies worldwide. This album produced some of Metallica's most well-known singles, such as Understand Man and Sad But True. This album also brought Metallica numerous awards such as a Grammy, American Music Awards, and MTV Awards. More recently, Metallica has been staying around in the Bay Area, where they're not writing too much, but mostly touring.